Hi everybody, Luke Feldbergy here, beginning a new day. It's day 30, video number 30. Throwing the gloves on, it's cold outside again. I'll try to stay warm. Let's get into this, begin a new day. This is the beginning of a new day. God has given me this day to use as I will. I can waste it or use it for good. What I do today is important because I'm exchanging a day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving in its place something that I have traded for it. I want it to be gain, not loss. Good, not evil. Success, not failure. In order that I shall not regret the price that I have paid for it. Okay. So I had one to do after a long evening of doing side hustle work the night before. I had one to do yesterday, and I did it. I added a new product to the website, and I added the Extraordinary t-shirt to my website. So I was pretty happy to get at least one done and tackle my to-do. Here's the issue with that. Here's what I learned. When I posted that product to the site, I learned that I had already done that. So I duplicated my work. I now have 2 Extraordinary t-shirts on my website. So I almost accomplished my to-do. I added a new product, but it wasn't new. So that's what happens when you get to be too tired and when you don't take good notes on things that you've already done. So lesson learned on that one. I will be fixing that issue, and there's more work to come. Something else that I learned. I asked some peers of mine via LinkedIn and a LinkedIn group and coworkers of mine about my new True Mydentity business card design that I had put together. And I had asked for some feedback, and it's a simple, straightforward, pretty clean design, little splash of orange color, a picture of me, and my contact information, and the True Mydentity website. That's pretty much the extent of it. It's two-sided. Where I have all of my contact information is where I received the majority of the feedback, and they were all good points. Some have left me to ponder a little bit more, but what I received was 3 very important elements of your business card anyway. So if you're working on a business card layout and you're trying to determine what you should be putting on it, fundamentals obviously is contact information, phone number, email address. But the first piece of feedback I got was have a common social channel handle that you use consistently on all of your social channels. So, for example, at Luke Feldbergy would be a great one for me. Unfortunately, there is somebody in Germany with that name who uses that handle, and I was not aware of. I don't know who this person is. I've never met them, but somewhere obviously related down the line. So I couldn't use that specific handle for all of my accounts. So I have used variations of a handle on LinkedIn, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all kinds of different channels. I have different handles. So on my business card, I put all of those different handles, and Seth at work says to me, why don't you just put one handle for all of your social accounts? And I said, well, I've got different handles because there's some other Luke Feldbergy in the world that I did not know existed, and they have some of those accounts. So I would have to go in to get one social handle to use on my business card for all of my accounts, which would be the best solution, because if somebody wants to look for Luke Feldbergy, all they would have to do is just type at Luke Feldbergy and they'd pull it up. Well, I can't do that given what I've already said. So I'm trying to figure out what would be the best option to synchronize all of my social handles into one. And it could be a clever name, it could be whatever, I could promote it. I can do whatever I want. So I'm pondering that one. I like the solution. I love the solution. Strategically, the solution makes a lot of sense to have one handle on your business card. I'm trying to figure out what that handle should be. So that change hasn't happened yet, but I would recommend you use one handle on your business card and everywhere else for any kind of social correspondence that you'd be doing and for all of your profiles. I think that's a smart solution. Good recommendation, Seth. I also received feedback on the brand use of lowercase letters from Karlene Wieland, who is a peer of mine, one I truly appreciate feedback from and who has always been supportive of me. She gave great feedback as well. So we use lowercase letters for the brand. I, in line with the brand, chose to use lowercase letters for my name. So I didn't capitalize Luke and I didn't capitalize Feldbrugge, the first letter of my name. Her response was, and I don't remember verbatim what it was, but it was basically, it's okay to capitalize the first letters of your name. That's the appropriate way to treat a name. And it's yours and it's uniquely yours and you should own it and you should be proud of your name. And I'm adding more to what she was saying, but that's the premise of it. The importance of a name is not something to minimize, I guess. So I like that feedback. I agree with that feedback. I'm probably going to make that change and make sure that consistent with the brand on all other aspects, but truly write out the name with capital letters at the beginning of each first and last name. So very good feedback. Thank you for that. You made me think about that and consider it, and I appreciate it. And then I got one more piece of feedback from a mentor of mine by the name of Mr. Bob Paine. And he offered some great feedback too. He brought the old school element into things, which I hadn't really considered, to be honest, was instead of using the profile picture that I'm using on all of my social accounts, where I have a black and white face, close-up of my face, but it's a family picture that I clipped out. And my son's head is rested on my shoulder, if you will, so you can see a portion of his head in the corner of the photo. So it looks more casual, family-friendly, not as much business-oriented, where it would be just a standalone image of yourself on a professional format versus a group photo where you're clipping other people's heads and body parts in your image, really. So I think it's a fair point. I think it's a very fair point. And in my past, in my career past, I would have been pretty adamant about that, honestly. I've kind of been shifting gears in some of those traditional ways of presentation, and I think it's just the exposure that I'm getting to the younger generations and realizing the audience that I have for True Mydentity is under the age of 35. So I know the professional profile photo is more casual now, but that doesn't mean it's like group pictures and you're cutting your face out and throwing it up. So the feedback is very appropriate and has caused me to think more about that piece of feedback versus the others than any other one. So I think Bob is right, and I think I also have an argument. So I'm on the fence on that one. We'll see how it all pans out. But here's the other thing. I like the photo that I have in there. And when I say I like it, I mean it means something to me. It was a very happy moment in my life. It's with my wife and my 3-year-old. We're at an apple orchard. We're having a wonderful day, and the smile that I have is a true, real representation of a very happy moment in my life. And because my brand is True Mydentity, and because that was a moment when I was really at my finest, when I was really enjoying myself, and when it was an important time for me, I felt like that image made sense to represent me on my True Mydentity card. So there's deeper meaning to the picture, and I'm using that as part of my argument to justify the use of it. But that's not to say that Bob's point shouldn't be considered. So that's why I'm on the fence on this one. Validity on both sides, I believe. So I'm going to continue to think about that one. So thank you for your feedback, guys. Thank you for your feedback, Seth. Thank you for your feedback, Bob and Karlene. It was really good feedback, and I appreciate it. Offered me different perspective and all legitimate feedback. So for side hustlers out there, things to consider for your business card design. It's a small piece of paper that you would give to somebody that's getting less and less used in this world of digital and internet use. But I'll tell you right now, I have been in a lot of instances where there are people that I don't know real well, or even that I do know real well, that I think would benefit me to hand them a business card to take away and see at a different time, with my brand and my contact information on there if anything were to happen. I have been put in numerous positions like that over the last few weeks. So it's time for me to have one. I think you should always have one as a business owner, side hustler. As an employee of a company, you should have one for any instance where you can talk about the company and what you do and things that might be a solution for somebody. So that's the short lesson of things that I've learned. Let's see. I want to give some gratitude. So I gave gratitude for those 3 individuals for their feedback. That was the first one. The second one is I received a comment from a classmate of mine, high school classmate of mine, named Jim Kaul, and he commented on it was my YouTube video yesterday on Facebook, and he said, nice to see that smile, and you really haven't changed much since we hung out, because I actually attended a daycare that was across the cul-de-sac from his home. So when we were younger, we would hang out and play. And I mean, that was probably I don't even know, 3rd, 4th grade maybe? No, it was probably younger than that. I don't know. So it was younger ages. But he was flashing back to that and remembering those days, and he made a comment on Facebook, and it made me think about how much time has passed, be it from that moment or from that stage in life to here, and he could still see the similarities of what he was remembering from our childhood. And that just struck me as a very cool thing to say to somebody, because it helped me remember that I'm still who I am. I'm the same person I was back then as I am now. I might have another chin, and I might have some crow's feet going on, and some additional things that are different features. But when you get down to the core of it, the similarities are still there, and you are still who you were then. So knowing that all that has transpired over the last, I guess it was probably 30, 40 years, in between 30 to 35 years probably, of time that has passed since those moments, I haven't changed much. He can still see it in me. He can still see the similarities. And I know people personally who have changed dramatically, physically, since their youth, and I don't know if I would recognize them. So for me, it was nice to hear. For me, it was nice to know that all of that, all of what I remember from the youth and who I was then, physically can be seen in a photo. It was just kind of cool to tie it all together. So, Jim, I just wanted to say thanks for taking a moment to let me know that in your reflections of our times past, you could actually see the similarities still. So that was actually a very cool thing for me, and I appreciate taking the time to tell me that. To-dos for today, I want to get an actual, real, non-repeat product on my website and do the job that I was supposed to do last night. And I'd also like to start emailing some of the teachers that I've pulled in this particular area, my hometown, and just get on the radar of some teachers. So I pulled an email list. I'm going to start emailing them an introduction to me and True Mydentity, and let them know what opportunities exist for them on what True Mydentity t-shirts can do for them or their students. So that is a awareness building campaign that I'm going to try to put into play starting tonight. And that'll be ongoing for quite some time because there are quite a few teachers that I'd like to touch with an email message. So a lot of work to be done on that, but I'd like to get the ball rolling. So that is a to-do that I'd like to start today. The word that I've selected is honest. And I think the big reason I chose that one is because I was debating originally if I were going to tell you that the one thing that I did last night, the one thing I had to do was put up a new product, and I put up a copycat product instead of a new one. I debated whether I was going to tell you guys that, and I had to come clean. You know, I have to share these special, unique, premier accomplishments that I do on a daily basis. So, I chose honest. I came clean. I did my to-do, but I did not do it correctly. I chose honest because it's a very important word, and if I'm going to be honest, I debated whether to put the word honest on True Mydentity. I think there are different perspectives on the word, so I did add it because I don't know how an individual would view that for their own identity. So I thought it would be at least fair to offer it. My personal view on honest is we all struggle to be honest, and I think it's something we want to do. But I think our human nature, in Christianity, it's a sinful nature, and I'm sure there are other ways of describing it in other religions, but we have this ingrained inability to be honest and truthful and sincere in all instances. So I, for example, am not always honest with myself. I'm not. And it starts with yourself, and then it branches out to others, right? And it impacts your life with others too. So, for example, I'm not always honest with myself. I will flat out say to myself, hey, it's okay to have a few of those chips and then grab the bag and eat half the bag. I will flat out say to myself, hey, Luke, it's okay to stay up till 3 a.m. and work on your side hustle. Don't worry about the 2 or 3 hours of sleep you're going to get. It's okay. You need to get those projects done. Don't worry about it. You'll be okay. And I know damn well when I wake up the next morning, I'm exhausted. It's harder to do what I need to do throughout the day because of it. And it's not good for my physical health or mental health. So I lie to myself. And I think we're all guilty of that to some degree. I think we give ourselves false information to do things that we want to do versus things that we should do. And that's why I struggle with the word honest. But I believe that there are probably individuals out there who have a better capacity to do it, live it, and those that do have that ability, should have a t-shirt that says it, because that is one of the trickier ones. I think that is one of the true virtues that are one of the true values that are tough to live every day, all day. I certainly have not been perfect in the world of honesty, and I almost did it last night. I almost grabbed that bag of chips and went to town. Almost. Holly Willis, you'd be proud of me. I did not eat them. So anyway, I think there is a lot to be said about being honest and really trying to be honest with yourself and with others. Jokes aside, it is an important thing to pursue in all that you do. It is going to lead us to a better communication effort between people, because trust is built and established. When you trust someone, there is definitely going to be a better communication and relationship between the two. So, whatever it is, individuals, groups, nations, whatever it is, if we're taking an honest approach on things, I can't imagine why. I can. Human nature. I mean, that even being honest can be problematic, right? For example, there are times where you, as a parent, guilty, as a parent, you will hold back part of the whole answer, the real answer, for a young child, because it might be scary. It might be something that scary, evil, threatening, something that you as a parent feel they don't need to know about at this time in their life. I've done it, and it's not being, seeing I'm trying to justify it. It's not being dishonest. It's just not telling them everything, right? It's only giving them enough to answer the question and not